All right, good morning, everyone. We got the CPI release coming in here in about a minute. Um, if you're familiar with my work, you would know that I wait a minimum 20 to 30 minutes after we have high impact news releases, such as CPI, non farm payroll, FOMC, events like that. Good morning, Adele. Good morning, Colt. Okay, so there we go. That's that CPI release. So, obviously, I wasn't here ahead of time to try and, I guess, predict what price was going to do, because that doesn't matter because we're not trading this. I mean, let's go to ES quick. Opens right here, goes the whole way down from 4,430. 10-point slippage, but typically it's a little more slippage than that. But taking positions prior to CPI, I mean, you might get lucky one time, but 95% of the time you're going to probably lose your account or at least do some serious damage. But nonetheless, if you take a look what they did here, so we have Friday's high, came up, Monday swept the high but left them relatively equal, and then what did we do here on the next day when we opened on Tuesday? We opened, matched this high, and then prior to the CPI, so basically all this is just engineering buy side liquidity for whenever they drive it up here. And then below the opening price, we swept the sell side liquidity below here. And a discount. So we reached equilibrium. So we have that equilibrium stop rate, classic, into the down close candles here. So basically now what we do, so with this type of scenario here, what we do now is we wait at least 20 to 30 minutes, and typically there would be some type of setup that will form in that time window. And if not, we just wait for the 9:30 opening, and yeah. We're not rushing to put live funds at risk. We're patiently waiting for our personal model to present itself. So we're working up into this breaker here. So we just reached midpoint of the breaker, this down close candle here. So this would be a daily breaker. So I'll just have that line annotated so I can see it on the lower time frames. And then we're almost also at the high end of this weekly imbalance here, this SIBI. So this down pass here, re-delivering up into the high end here. NASDAQ almost at August high. So I'll go ahead and mark this out. And then we traded into the rejection block here. See that? So traded right through the bodies. That would be our rejection block. And then we also just tapped into this weekly order block. Get my level a little more accurate there. There we go. So all the bodies cleaned out here. I'm going to monitor to see if it wants more aggression to the upside to sweep the high entirely. But for now, we did sweep all the bodies and these relatively equal daily highs here. And then we're also back in this old imbalance here. So these are all the levels I'm using here, basically. Let's go down to the hourly. So the ideal scenario here would be looking for some type of shorting setup back into the void. So if you look at the seconds chart, you'll be able to see the actual void in price that CPI typically creates. And then we're also going to be leaving behind a very relatively large regular trading hour gap too. So those are two things to consider. Relatively large regular trading hour gap too. So Alright, so I'm going to look at Dow quick on the higher time frames as well. So, in terms of weekly levels, we're up in the upper quadrant now of... So we redelivered this weekly imbalance here. This premium weekly imbalance. Then we'll drop down to the daily. And then we'll refine the weekly imbalance to this daily level, right? So I can delete this. And then if you look here, we also have this old volume imbalance right here. So premium volume imbalance, premium imbalance. Both delivered beautifully. So I'm also going to be looking at midpoint of this wick here. So this old daily wick, this would be a premium wick. The algorithms obviously see these as gaps in price. So I'll be referring to the midpoint of it specifically. Typically is the midpoint of wicks are typically the most precise price points with wicks. So that's why I'm using it. So I'll make that green, and then the blue line, that's just the weekly order block, and it just so happens to also align with this daily order block here. So these two up close candles, this would be a daily order block as well. So just keep these levels in mind, and we will see if they will give us anything on the lower time frames here. Whoops. So notice I don't have an absurd amount of makeup on my chart here. That would be because I don't need that much on my chart. So I am also gonna mark out this weekly order block as well. So we are working up into the body here. So I'm not gonna use the very low end. I'm gonna use not the midpoint. Hold on. So this would be the lower 25% of it. So we're almost up to it. I don't need to mark it out. I just want to bring it to your attention. So basically all I did was take midpoint of this order block and then take midpoint of it again. And that would be our lower quadrant level for the order block. Very precise price point. Then obviously we also have this weekly imbalance. I'm going to take the midpoint of that. And then I'm going to take the midpoint of it again. See, simple. So we worked up into the upper quadrant. And then you can obviously see we are in premium as well. So yeah, very aggressively was October's monthly high swept. Beautiful precision in this last week here. So this is kind of going to be not the most eventful stream, at least until what time is it? At least until around 9 o'clock. So yeah, at this point it's just a waiting game. And if I don't find my model and I don't find anything that I think is high probability, and if I don't think I see anything that's clean that I would take with live funds, guess what? I'm not going to take a trade. And I'm going to come back tomorrow and hunt for my setup once more. So yeah, if we don't get anything for this first post news release macro coming in to the 9 o'clock hour, then we'll probably just have to wait until the 9:30 opening, which is, I mean, that's completely fine. If you're a real trader, you'll have patience and know that there's no need to force your will or rush anything into the marketplace. Because then at that point, you'd just be rushing to lose money if that's your mindset. Good morning, chat. Not a problem. Where can I find your model? New here. So if you just watch, obviously, the videos on my YouTube channel, I think I do a good job of showing that, but specifically, a brief overview of my entire model would be labeled in my video A+ trading setup. But other than that, with me and my inner circle members, I give out my live signals, give logic to it as well, call everything ahead of time, do private live streams, and obviously private mentorship videos. So if you want more in-depth stuff like that and you're serious about it, then obviously I would tell you to join that. But you can just be fine with watching my videos. and my A plus trade setup video that's here on YouTube. Alright, so it's a tiny little gap here. If it lets me zoom in on it. Alright, let's try this. There we go. Alright, so I'm looking at this gap, and I'm also looking at this rejection block here. So the only reason why I'm even putting this on my chart is just for visual aid for my viewers, obviously. So this will be considered is it back up? Okay, cool. It's back up. So I think we're up and running again. YouTube loves to take... Okay, thanks Adele. Appreciate you for bringing that to my attention, or else I probably wouldn't even noticed. So I don't know. Something about these public streams. YouTube just loves to take them down. I don't know. It's a little fishy. I don't know. But yeah, I appreciate you, Adele. I don't even, like, it doesn't even notify me or anything when they take my stream down. They just do it. Alright, so along with this rejection block, I'm also going to be looking at the midpoint of this wick right here. So I want to see if maybe we'll draw up, work up into this wick here and see what we do from there. And keep in mind, stream is almost 2 minutes behind. Nah, I think you just have to rewind to the front, brother. I would hope YouTube doesn't have a 2-minute delay. That would be odd. Alright, so once again, I want to see us work up into this wick. So I'm going to take this off. Just know that we traded up above the bodies, that's all. Nothing crazy here. So I'm using midpoint of the 1 minute wick just because in current market scenarios like this will be the most precise price point on the lowest time frame. But you could use the 15-minute wick. And typically the 15-minute wick does align with the 5-minute wick, so you don't have to, you know, have all these lines on your chart, but I'll just put it here just for completion's sake. There we go. So almost we're working in the lower quadrant of the 15-minute wick here. If it really wants to retrace back into the range, typically the lower quadrant will be respected, and it won't really need to go too much higher. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep it on my chart just because I don't want too many lines. Just know that we're working up into those wicks. But yeah, guys, if YouTube decides to take my stream down because they hate that I'm giving out top tier knowledge, just let me know in the comments, and I'll go ahead and boot up the stream again, which I shouldn't have to, but you know, YouTube is YouTube. All right, so midpoint of the wick delivered. Let's look at NASDAQ. So NASDAQ just swept the highs here. All right, so this is nice to see. I want to see if maybe we can hold as the SMT divergence. And for anyone new, obviously SMT divergence is just so like ES would fail to make a higher high here, while NASDAQ traded above the high, and Dow also failed. So we have one average sitting out. Alright, so people in my Inner Circle Discord chat here or are telling me that there's a 30-second delay, so just real quick, there's nothing crazy going on in the charts, relax, there's nothing to trade on right now, so I'm going to see if I can actually fix that real quick, so I'll be back in 30 seconds. Alright. Boom. So, yeah, I have the latency as good as I can get it, so any delay is just on YouTube's end, so I apologize for that, guys. But yeah, I mean, only a 15-second delay. You can still read everything real time with me and whatnot. So obviously a nice reaction off of this 1 minute gap here with the down close candle here. Extend that out. That's not a high probability trade. So I mean, as you guys saw real time, there's no need to press live funds into this because it easily could have just, you know, came down for the short term low just as easy as it came up for this high here. Alright, so I do like that we got that that first lower time frame sweep of the buy side. So now I can start considering things a little bit more seriously. So the high swept on NQ and Dow. I'm going to go ahead and look at the dollar index. So very nice sell off on the dollar index. Sell side liquidity from November taken out. And this was all off of this imbalance here. So hold on, let me see here. Alright, so dollar index obviously was working in these wicks, so the last couple weeks, so I don't really need to mark it out. So really nothing on the weekly time frame, but just look at this inverse gap coupled with this volume imbalance. We are retrading into that, and then midpoint of this daily wick right here being repriced to for a second time. So we'll have this level marked out on DXY. And And then I might need to go down to the 4 hour here just because there's not much on the daily time frame. So I'm going to extend this imbalance out as well. This will be an hourly imbalance, so let me go the whole way over for you. So this hourly imbalance here. So we're just using that inversely, and we re-delivered that along with the sell side. So this would just be previous week's low delivered. Now let me go to the lower time frames. So look what just took place here for now. 847, that low right there. Let's go back to the averages. If it lets me, there we go. 847. So, alright, forget the time aspect. Basically, we made a higher high on all of the averages, but we failed to do so on the dollar index. So, potentially, I'm not saying it is, potentially that could be something significant, but for right now, it does look like it might want to have another sweep on the dollar index to the low end, but we'll have to wait and see. But if we take a premium of the range here, or not premium and discount of the range, I at least want to see dollar index work up into here eventually. So it looks like dollar index will want to sweep the sell side once more. But I'm going to go back, bring my focus back to the averages here. So we broke midpoint of the wick here, so I'm going to take that off. And we're up in that upper quadrant now. And then once again, where's the rejection block? It's right here, because this is where the highest bodies are. You extend that out and you see that we swept that. So the bulk of the liquidity has been swept. That doesn't mean it's not going to want to sweep the buy side up here, but it's just a important level to look at. And then we have this daily order block here, these two up close candles. And I'm gonna just go over to the hourly time frame quick, see if there's anything in here. Okay. So take a look at Monday's price action right here. See how it doesn't look like much was going on? Well, I'll tell you, there was stuff going on. If you're in my inner circle, you would know that, because the longs we caught in here, I mean, that literally, the trades that I gave out yesterday for all my inner circle members literally is enough for the entire week. We could have just took these trades right here, these longs, did a couple contracts for, I was using one contract for multiple longs up into here, up into the buy side. And, I mean, literally that's enough for an entire week. It was about $1,000 gain. And, I mean, literally you can just close your laptop on a Monday and be done for the week. Obviously, I'm not doing that because, you know, I have people to help and whatnot. But sometimes when it looks like there's not much going on, you go down to those lower time frames and you find very high probability scalps. See this order block here? Nice reaction, CPI. So basically the only thing I'm going to be looking for in terms of a A+ trading setup type of scenario is a retracement back into this very inefficient price action down here. It would be pretty foolish to buy in a premium while we're having this like quote-unquote trend type of thing. So this would be what we consider trendline liquidity. So like the you know, like the average speculator would come in, see we came down here, came down again, respecting that, right? Then it comes back down here, they'd probably be buying that, trying to aim for higher pricing, and then the market will just reprice down to these lows with ease. So let's check back in with the dollar index quick. Alright, so dollar index is still not wanting to make that lower low for now. To me, this doesn't look like a favorable bottom, so quote unquote bottom. So it probably would be better for it to sweep the sell side down here, and then see if we can key anything off of that. So yeah, there we go. Almost there. Almost. Come on, just poke down there. So you see how you can use the dollar index on the lower time frames real time to have more accurate timing with the averages. So basically this low is going to get swept, so I'm just going to leave that be. But I'd be waiting for the dollar index to sweep that low to consider things on ES and NASDAQ. Alright, so watch this inverse gap. I want to see it trade off of that and trade lower. And then watch this 1 minute gap here. I want to see it reprice into that and then trade lower off of this. Yeah, let's see if the dollar index. Okay, there we go. Dollar index swept the low. That's what I was waiting for. Nice, nice. And then as you can see, little inversion gap. You want to see it bump into that and then trade lower down to the lows. And I don't think I have my level accurate here, so I'm going to fix that. There we go. Look at dollar index. Alright, cool. So I want to see it trade off of this gap right here and then trade down to the lows and then work into the inefficiency down here. And also, so I'm not going to keep flipping the dollar index like this, so it's probably annoying some of you. I'm just going to pull it up on my other screen here. So notice I'm still tape rating this and saying I want it to trade lower off of here, but I'm not going to put any live funds into it yet, because I would need for it to be A+, I would need more meaningful displacement to the downside. Alright, one more time to dollar index. Alright, cool. So I'm still just watching. So what I'm thinking here now is I think I'm gonna wait till the 9:30 opening and let that regular trading hour gap get set in place. I do like this swing high form though within the imbalance. Let me see what Dow's doing. Okay. Alright, so I was waiting for a swing high to be formed on NASDAQ. We got that. And then the swing high here was formed within the inversion gap here. And we tapped back into it and traded off a little bit. Very slow moving for me though. Notice I'm outlining things and telling you what I want to see, but am I pushing live funds? No. If it's not crystal clear, A+ trading, no live funds are being pushed. So this simply would just be, make sure I get my levels accurate. This would be the inverse 5 minute. Alright, I like the sensation that just took place. So we just wicked up to tag, short-term stops, and then immediately wicked off. Just because of how slow moving we've been in the macro, though, I think I am going to be waiting until the 9:30 opening here. So basically all I'm doing right now is just waiting for meaningful movement and a little bit more information here. So I want to see us close below this 5-minute gap here. Close below it. Not trade below it. Close below it. Let's go back to Dow quick. So yeah, nothing interesting on Dow that I don't already see on the other ones. Dollar index, not really finding any support here. I would definitely want to see that though. I think we did just sweep that daily. Excuse me, this daily low here. Yes, we did. Okay, so that's good. So I'll mark that out. Let me try and extend this out here. Oh, there we go. Finally let me zoom in. So yeah, it's working in this wick right here, the midpoint of that. Watch that. Small little wick here. Repricing up to the midpoint of that sample. And then flip over to NQ. NQ just swept the short-term highs here. Retrading into what? This order block. So I'm just watching and waiting. I need certain closures below certain levels. I need certain displacement in certain times, and I'm not getting that, so I'm not trading. So 9:30 opening is in 13 minutes, so we will just wait for that and see what we get after that. So yeah, I'll be here probably till around the later portion of the 10 o'clock hour here, and if I don't find anything in that time window, no harm done, no money lost. My inner circle members and I made money yesterday, and we'll more than likely be making money throughout the rest of the week. So if I don't place any trades today, it's completely fine with me, and it should be fine with you too. There's no reason why you should be so focused on, or just so worried about missing one move out of the entire week. Like there's going to be another, like there's going to be more trading days. Today's trading is not going to be the only trading day ever that existed. Like there's going to be a lot more opportunities for you. Just no need to force anything and fear missing anything. Notice how long I've been watching and waiting. So compare this live stream right here. Okay, so see what you're seeing here, and then go ahead and compare that to, just say, my recent video, or just any of my execution videos. It looks a lot more fun in the execution video, doesn't it? And then you kind of see the reality of it when you're watching the live stream, and you're like, oh, it's kind of boring. Well, yeah, it's what real money from real traders like myself is made with being calm and being patient and sticking to your model. And yeah, just you can have all the patience in the world, all the discipline, you're still going to lose money. It's about how you manage your risk and make your wins bigger than your losses. So once again, just waiting for the 9:30 opening. So yeah, if you compare what I'm doing here to maybe other streamers that you may be watching for insights and whatnot, and you know, there's other good options. I'm not the only good trader that streams in the world. But 90% of the other streams I see, I notice a repeating pattern where it's like they're just in there all their live streaming, and the only thing they're in there to do is just say like, see, look, I'm right, see, I got this right, and you know, just kind of beat their chest and then say where they think it's going to go, and it just so happens to trade down there, and they'll beat their chest, but they're not showing any executions, they're not executing anything live. I mean, it's like a guessing game at that point, and that's obviously not what we do here. And I'm not here I'm not here to be right or wrong and beat my chest for you guys. I'm here to show you what proper trading looks like, and watching and waiting for your personal setup to perform. So going into the 9:30 opening, I am interested in this low right here, and then down into the inefficiency. And then I also want to see how we when we go into the 9:30 opening, I want to see what that regular trading hour gap looks like. So the range high to low, this would be the main interest down here. So obviously, with scenarios like this, there's no reason for me to be hunting long setups, only shorting setups. And if I don't get a shorting setup, then I'm just don't trade. Simple as that. And the reason I say no long setups is because we're already in such a deep premium in reach daily arrays. And not to mention all the inefficiency we have left behind and the sell stops residing below here. By the way, guys, if YouTube decides to take my stream down, they love to do it only when I live stream publicly, not when I'm live streaming privately, but they love to take down my public streams. So just let me know in the comments if that happens. Let me pull up the dollar index over here on my other screen. So yeah, dollar index still hasn't found any type of support on the low end, and to trust shorts, any type of shorting scenario for the Nasdaq or ES, I would need to see some form of support being found. Now that we swept those daily lows there from September 20th, 2023, that daily swing low that we swept, I would need to see some type of support being found. Alright, so we just broke through this order block here, as well as this inefficiency. So if we were to displace back lower, we'd be still referring to this. And we're referring to it now because we're trading to the high end of it. Five more minutes to that 9:30 opening. Alright, so I like if you're looking at the dollar index on the 1 minute time frame, I do like that short-term reaction we just had off of that order block, that 1 minute order block. And I want to see if we can get a market structure shift off of that now. So see how the algorithm's using this tiny little gap here inversely? Traded to the high end of it, immediately wicked off. Even if it wicks off here and then goes lower, it doesn't matter. You can still see the real-time precision once it trades back into this price point. And obviously there's nothing I'm interested in executing on as of right now. So, and if there is, it'll be taken live right in front of you. Nothing hidden. Everything right on the screen here. I'm not I'm not gonna tell you I'm entering and then not show you on the screen and then be like, oh, okay, yep, I'm out right here, yep. And the only reason why I'm saying this stuff is because, I mean, it's just ridiculous what other streamers love to do, and also ridiculous how people fall for it, but it is what it is. Those who want to listen to me and find value in what I do, they will come. So obviously, looking here now, it looks like it may want to come up and tag that buy side one more time. So if we do that, I would look to see for like a 3 drives type of pattern to the upside. But if we can continue on past that, so let's say we trade above this high, and then we trade off again, and then trade through the high again, then at that point, no, I would be disinterested, and I probably wouldn't be taking any trades today. And ideally, I do want to see at least one of the averages fail. So at this point, I would want Dow, just because how close it is to sweep this 8 o'clock high. And I would want NASDAQ to fail to do so. And then I want ES to see if we can sweep that. And then I am just going to flip the dollar index quick just to show you what I was talking about. Obviously now it's displacing lower off of this initial pump up, so still nothing favorable I'm seeing on the dollar index. Need to see some type of signatures present themselves to me for me to trust that we would be going above the short-term high and then into this inefficiency for the dollar index. And right now, that's just not showing for me. So I do want to see. I do want ES to maybe sweep this high one more time, and then preferably NASDAQ to fail right here. You guys probably hear my dog up there barking. Apologize if you hear that in the background. Alright, there we go. So Dow swept the high, so I want to see if we can get some type of 3 drive scenario. And what did I say? If price goes down and then drives up again, and then at that point, no, that would just be overkill, and I would just kind of leave the charts alone. So we have 1 more minute to the 9:30 open. I want to see if at that 9:30, I'm preferring that we come up and sweep this high. Oh, sorry about that. So, alright, here's the 9:30 opening. I'm preferring ES to sweep this high here. And then see what we can do from that. So if it lets me extend this level out here. I don't think it's going to let me do it. Bear with me here, guys. There we go. Alright, boom. There's that 9:30 high. Or not 9:30 high. There's that 9:30 sweep at the buy side. Would you look at that? I was right. It's like, I do like that we swept this high, though. So I want to see if I can get some type of 3 drives scenario. And 3 drives is just when buy side is consecutively taken. And it's like a 3 drives higher type of thing. So let me see NASDAQ. It would be preferred if NASDAQ failed here. Like I said. Failed to do what? Failed to take this high. So Dow took it. ES took it. NASDAQ is not. So I prefer NASDAQ to stay below this low. Or high, sorry. And it looks like we will get that. So Dow swept the high, and we just traded up into this up close candle. This would be the order block, and we're waking out for that. And I need to see. So now that I'm telling you I'm looking for this 3 drive scenario, I need to see us get meaningful displacement below this low. Excuse me, below this low right here. And if I don't get that, then there's no setup for me. So this would be our 3 drives idea. So I like how Nasdaq is still failing. So if we go above this high right here, then that's when things will be unfavorable. Worked in this wick right here. Come on, averages, show me something. Alright, there we go. There's the initial displacement I wanted to see. Let me extend this out more so it's not in the way. So yeah, obviously this is not enough. I need to see meaningful displacement below these lows right here. And then my eyes would gravitate to here and here. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and take the range here. And if my model presents itself right now, which it looks like it may, my eyes would draw to here. See what Nasdaq's doing. Alright, beautiful. Nasdaq failed to take out that high. And I want to see it stay that way. If it doesn't, then my interest will be elsewhere. Alright, I like Dow. I like that nice displacement off the order block here. The 1 minute. Beautiful. I just need either ES or Nasdaq to give up the ghost here and trade lower, but so far it's not doing that. Let's see what the dollar index did at that 9:30 opening. So we just keep going lower. And then we do have some more relative daily lows down here. It's not preferred that it trades down here, but that would be the next draw if it does keep going lower. Yeah, I'm not interested right now. So at this point, with what I'm seeing here now, I'm gonna have to wait till 9:50. How's that? More waiting. Damn it. So a little bit of aggressiveness here, but watch midpoint of this wick. So basically the midpoint of this wick here, this will be our final hope for any type of shorting scenario to present itself. So I'll just look at that real-time precision off the midpoint there. So the only conflicting thing here now is I don't like how clean they just made these highs on Nasdaq, and then it just repriced to this gap here. So I need to see some meaningful displacement. And typically on days like this, I would say like I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm wrong. We're not going to be going lower. I'm going to adapt to order flow. Maybe look for a longing setup now. But no, this type of scenario, absolutely not. I'm not doing that ever. You'll never see me do that. And that's because, I mean, why would I want to long when we have all this inefficiency down here? And look at the regular trading hour gap. This very large regular trading hour gap left behind. Longing in this type of scenario, I mean, that's just, I mean, you're just asking to get your money taken. $99% of the time, at least. And if you guys watch my A plus trading setup, obviously longing in deep premiums is not a part of my A plus trading setup. Just like shorting in deep discounts would not be considered my A plus trading setup. So at this point, yeah, NASDAQ would need to sweep the high. Just too clean here. How we came up and matched it. Too clean. So we have that buy side swap right there. So it's reasonable. It was definitely preferred to see one of the averages fail to make a higher high, but sweeping the high here on NASDAQ is reasonable. Now if we come up above this high and we don't have any displacement off it, then obviously we don't have anything. So I can take this off now. So in my Inner Circle Discord, Jonathan says, looks like NQ wants to sweep the 4-hour buy side. You could be right. So that 4-hour buy side would be right here. I mean, that's potential, but I'm not going to be doing any longs up into that level here. So right here. So honestly, there's really no need for it to actually do that, because once again, as I outlined, we were pricing this inefficiency plus this order block. It's 2 up close candles. On the weekly, you can look at the weekly, but it's 1 order block. We swept all the bodies on the daily time frame, so the bulk of the liquidity resides in the bodies. So we swept all the clean bodies here and traded into the wick and then the inefficiencies here. And not to mention, we swept in the September high, these clean daily highs. And we swept the October monthly high. So I want to see Dow fail to take out the 930 high. NASDAQ took it. ES took it right here. So it is 9:41. We will be waiting until 9:50. That'll be our post 9:30 opening macro. And if nothing presents in that macro, I likely will just be closing up shop for the day with no executions. Obviously, that's not preferred, especially when I'm live streaming publicly, but it is what it is. And you know, I don't personally move these markets. I can't tell these candles what to do. I can predict them consistently every single week with my Inner Circle members, but I can't personally move them. So once again, on the 1 minute time frame, let's go back to the regular trading hour. There's going to be sell side below these lows here, and then we have this very large regular trading hour gap. I'm preferring, at least by the 10 o'clock hour, we start gravitating towards this level right here. But yeah, very slow moving post CPI today. So look how close NASDAQ is to that daily buy side right there. I like how Dow's still failing to get up there though. So yeah, at this point I do want to see it sweep this level right here first. Obviously, because how close we are to it. So that would just be this September monthly high right here. So some people might be seeing this gap right here and be like, oh, wait a minute, that's a long. Maybe for you, and maybe you're making money off that right now, but it's not my A+ trade setup. I'm not taking it. We're trading live funds here. We're not trading with paper money. No demo dollars, none of that. Alright, boom. So that September monthly high was just swept. And now at this point, final time, I would say would want to see displacement off that level. So now that we swept this December high, or I said December, this September high, I'd want to see some type of displacement off it, preferably below the swing low. And once again, I'm not looking for any longing setups. No longing will be taking place this New York session with this regular trading hour gap left behind. So we now have these clean highs swept along with this September monthly high swept. So this would be considered a key daily level, and we want to see if we can get any type of setup off of this. And then Dow did sweep the high. This wasn't preferred, but Dow did sweep the buy side once more. Working up into the high end of this volume imbalance here on Dow. So 3 more minutes until the post 9:30 opening macro. Obviously, that's what I'm waiting for here. And if nothing presents in there, close up the laptop for the day, and I will be back to my private streams for Inner Circle members, and I'm sure we'll be able to find some clean setups throughout the remainder of the week. Rule number 1, you don't have to trade every single day. And honestly, if you have a brief overview of trading statistics as a whole, you would see a repeating pattern that actually traders with higher returns, more successful traders, they tend to have lower frequency in their trades. And typically, the higher the frequency of trades, the least profitable they are. So keep that in mind. watching and waiting. Whatever we do off this monthly high right here, very important. If we just keep grinding higher past it, then obviously I'm not going to do anything. But I want to see meaningful displacement below this swing low right here. Same with the ES. So I see how we just displaced a little bit. Came back up. Nope. I need elephant in the water type displacement below the lows. So without using the indicator, you can clearly see that we would be extremely overbought. So let's go to the 15. So we're way above the midnight opening. We're way above the 8:30 opening. And we're also above the 9:30 opening. So without using any indicators, you don't need it. That's clearly overbought. So we reached higher time frame key levels. All I'm waiting for is meaningful lower time frame displacement. Oh, not the monthly time frame. Working up into this weekly order block. I think I mentioned this earlier, but we do have new viewers in here. So take the midpoint and then take the midpoint again. And we're in that lower 25% of the weekly order block, so that would be a key level for a key weekly level. So I'll have that annotated. And then I'll take this level off. So yeah, nothing could happen. It could just keep grinding higher, not give any opportunity for down here. This simply is just midpoint of the regular trading hour gap we left behind. 85% of the time, it's not a good idea to be longing with a large regular trading hour gap left behind. So it is 9:53. I'll be sitting here till 10:10 to see if they utilize this macro. If not, there likely will be no opportunity here for me to execute. But I'll continue looking at least until 10:30, 10:40. I'm live streaming for a reason here. I'm not just here to be right or wrong and beat my chest about everything. I'm here to show you what real trading looks like and proper discipline, proper risk management, and obviously outline everything I'm seeing in real time. There is a plus breaker on DXY. I think it's heading that way. Also a daily for Vega portion left. Says MCO. Let's see. You're referring to NASDAQ, I believe, then. So this fair value gap. Let's head over to the dollar index. So once again, we did just sweep this daily swing low. It would have been obviously preferred if we found support at this inversion daily gap after we swept this low, but we didn't. So that's problematic. We have this fair value gap right here. So longer term, obviously I want us to draw into here, but I'm not really expecting that today. It could happen, could be wrong, but and then I'll go to the weekly. So yeah, this would be considered a breaker here, this up close candle. Extend that out. So all this is doing is the algorithm allowing, so once they trade back to this up close candle, it's just allowing traders to mitigate their positions once it trades back down to this up close candle right here. And let me erase some of this stuff. So this up close candle right here. The purpose, what's the purpose of it trading to this up close candle? They're allowing traders to mitigate their already positions that they're already in. So yeah, I agree. I agree that we'd be gravitating toward this. I don't believe we get to it today, but I could be wrong. And at this point, this imbalance would be favorable, though. So the dollar index just grinding lower, not finding any support. And that's why we're seeing what we're seeing here on the averages. So I mean, just look at all this price action here. Do you see anything that is absolutely high probability, absolutely you're getting there with live funds and you're pushing it with confidence, no hesitation? If you're saying yes, okay, I would love to see you trade this type of price action consistently. And if you can, I mean, that's great. I can't hate on that because you're making money, but yeah, for me personally, nope, I'm good. I'm looking for specific elements in price, calculated and precise trade entries. I'm not trying to trade every single price swing. Why don't I have 4508? I don't know, I just don't need it. So are you referring to this daily high right here, I'm guessing? Alright, I'll draw it out for you. I am monitoring it, obviously, but we'll go ahead and draw it out. Just for my viewers. So at this point, we still have a PM session. So New York session not really giving me anything. Maybe something might pop up in the PM session. If it does, I'll just live stream just for a little bit for my inner circle members and the private live stream, obviously. And if I don't get that, then obviously, yeah, no executions for the day. So yeah, we are getting really close to that daily high right there. Just look how slow moving, and you know, just how it's slowly grinded up there. So yeah, that daily high just swept. Let's go over to NASDAQ, see where we are in there. Upper portion of this Fairvalue gap here. So I'm also gonna, I don't believe we're gonna get to it today, but I'm also gonna mark out the volume imbalance we have here. So this would be a draw going later on, longer term. Kendrick says retailers and FOMOers win today. Yeah. Believe it or not, there are days where people like that can win, but it's just one singular day, and obviously it's a low sustainable fuel there trading like that, and it's not going to last long. But yeah, I'm still looking at this regular trading hour gap here though. Maybe it won't come back to it till the PM session or tomorrow. I don't know yet because I haven't seen anything that would show me that yet. But we're watching and waiting. So at this point, I need 3 rays to be disrespected. I need this Survey gap, this down close candle, and preferably this swing low right here. Alright, so there we go. Finally getting some type of meaningful movement. So we just disrespected this gap, this down close candle, and then this inefficiency as well. So we have a key daily level traded to on the NASDAQ. We are the high end of this volume imbalance repriced to on the Dow. And we also have that key daily high traded to on ES right here. And then I would need to see this 5-minute gap disrespected with speed. So watch this inverse Fairway gap, see if we can get a nice reaction off of that. And then we did just dip down to this down close candle. I need to see this disrespected as well. So even though it'd be, oh, wrong average. Even though it would be considered tempting to go short right here, there's still a few more things that I need to see. And then obviously watch this inverse gap as well. So I'll just make this red. And then this is the 5-minute gap. So notice I'm not getting all excited and worked up over the first little down movement we had. Watch this inverse gap as well, like I said. So, I don't think we quite got to the opening there. Let me see. Oh, yep. Yeah, we did. So all we did was drop down to the opening of this 5-minute down close candle right here. So I would need to see this down close candle disrespected before I do anything. And then Dow just completely disrespected this gap. So yeah, maybe GK the trader from 2019 might have been shorting here right away, but not the 2023 one. I'm waiting, and I'm not saying that this couldn't play out. Obviously, it could react off here and play out to the downside, but I mean that's fine. I'll just be waiting for the second retracement. I need more out of price. I need this gap disrespected. I need some type of intermittent term high here formed. And I need at least midpoint of this down close candle disrespected. So like I said, I wasn't saying that this couldn't play out. So you see how NASDAQ is nicely repricing off of the inversion gap. I wasn't saying that it couldn't play out. I'm just saying there's a few more things that I need to see. So if I do find a shorting setup, my take profit will be somewhere down here. Let's go check the dollar index. And nothing significant here. Nope. So see how we just traded down to this volume imbalance here? And we're wicking up off of that. So just relax. There's no need to fear missing a move down. There's no reason to execute right now. Just calm down. Just wait to see if we disrespect those two levels I told you about in the 5-minute time frame. Alright, so I like how we left the swing high intact here on NQ, so that's nice to see. I just need ES to at least get below this volume imbalance. But for now, NASDAQ also just kind of shopping around. Yeah, Dow still. Not only did Dow disrespect this gap, it came up to the high end, respected the opposing one, and is trading higher towards the high. So yeah, still nothing favorable. Um, Obviously we had displacement after we took out the daily high here, but not meaningful displacement that I would want to see. And once again, I'll just go back again. I need all this drop down did. What did it do? Traded, worked in this wick, and then it traded into the opening of this order block right here on the 5-minute. And now we're kind of trading away from that. So I would need to see at least midpoint of this down close candle close below. Almost couldn't get the words out there. All right, so Dow swept the high. And what do you know? ES is climbing higher still and completely disregarded this gap. It's a good day not to be impulsive, isn't it? And if you took that trade and you were impulsive, don't take that as a shot. I'm just saying. If you're in my lives, you wouldn't be doing that anyways, but well, at least if you took my advice at least. Whoops. So I need to see this gap in this volume imbalance disrespected. So at this point, I kind of just have too many lines, so I'm going to start deleting stuff. It's that 5-minute gap I want to see disrespected. So all my inner circle members, you more than likely remember me talking about how once we get that first, at least first meaningful displacement leg, the first short-term high that is formed after that, 80 to 90% of the time will be swept and then repriced lower if it wants to. And then you see the short-term high swept here. It's a little bit cleaner on NASDAQ. So we swept that first short-term high formed right here and then displaced lower. So watch the down close candle here. to measure it out. And I want to see us disrespect this specific price point right here. There we go. Clear enough, clear enough. And then Dow made a higher high while the rest are failing to do so. I need to see displacement on Dow now. Jix says, your live streams help me stay disciplined, bro. Glad to hear that. That's what I'm here for. Duke, what's going on? Glad to see you here. NQ struggling. Looks like SMT is forming. Well, that would be preferred, yes. So, I'm going to bring your attention to this small little fractal in price here. So, on the 1 minute time frame basis, this would be considered a 1 minute breaker. So, we have the high, low, higher high, displaced below that, and then you look at this down close candle right here. And we want to see how it reacts to the high in there. So yeah, see, it just shot right through it, so I'm not going to be considering it then. And then this is the midpoint of the 5 minute order block, but I'm going to go ahead and refine it to this 1 minute order block here. So this right here, this would be a 1 minute order block. Let me see if I got that right. Yes, sir. Okay. So yeah, Dow just going into another high. The markets just don't want to work with me today, I guess. So I can take this off now. We just swap the high. So once again, it's a good day to not be impulsive, huh? I know some people in the marketplace saw this first expansion drop down and immediately shorted that because they've been waiting for it all morning. They're impatient and they can't go without trading a single day. And those are characteristics of unprofitability. So I like how NASDAQ is sitting out on taking the high up here. I want to see us displace below and treat this as a breaker. And then we need to disrespect this gap as well, obviously. So this is the volume imbalance here. So like I said, if we don't get anything by 11 p.m. New York time, then not preferably, but I'll just be closing up shop here, and there'll be no executions on the day. The only I can't even get my words out right now. The only exception is if I see something undeniably clean come the PM session, which I'm not really expecting, I'll just go ahead and boot up a private live stream for all my Inner Circle members then. But other than that, there'll be no trades taken today. So, looks like NASDAQ wants to follow suit and gravitate towards the highs there. Off of this inefficiency right here. Obviously, this would not be a trade for me. But, obviously, you can see real time. What did I say? I said I'm not shorting on the 1 minute time frame. I need to see us disrespect this down close candle. We didn't do so. In fact, we respected it, and we're trading higher towards another high. So it is 10:30 a.m. I will stay in this stream, patiently sitting here for about 15 more minutes, and then I'll just have to wrap it up and call it a day. No executions taken today. 0 executions. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Let's go to NQ. 0 executions. Yep, let's go to Dow. 0 executions. So yeah, definitely not the ideal morning. Obviously, when I'm doing these streams, I want to outline high probable setups for you guys, but that just was not a thing today. In my opinion, there was 0 high probability entry points this New York session. See how it's just like slowly grinding higher, gravitating higher, keeps just grinding higher. Meanwhile, we have this very large regular trading hour gap left behind. along with this large imbalance. Then on the daily, we did sweep these highs in here. And I'm going to mark out this small little gap in price here. Let me refine it a little bit. There we go. So above this gap, there would be these 3 clean highs here. And let's go to NASDAQ. Once again, we already swept this monthly high here. Very key. So all the internal within this range, all the meaningful internal buy side liquidity has been swept. 2 previous month highs. Inner Circle Discord chat, Giasin, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, says 1018 on NQ, 1 minute, is that a breaker? So 1018. Okay, yeah, so yeah, that is what we consider a breaker, but obviously I wasn't outlining it because I'm not looking for any longs here. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and end the stream here. 0 executions taken through the entire stream here. Not typical, but we didn't find our A+ trade setup that we were looking for. Nothing in price that was clean that I would push with live funds. I'm not over here trading demo money. It's live funds, obviously. But yeah, I think it'll call it a wrap here. And if I see anything, I'm not likely that this will happen, but if I see anything relatively clean come the PM session, I'll just boot up a short little private live stream for my Inner Circle members. And other than that, we'll just come back the rest of this week and we'll continue to hunt for our setup. And yeah, I think that'll do it. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.